Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Slayer Talk, where we talk about Slayers. My name is Mark. With me, as always, is my wife, Carol. How you doing today, Carol?
Hey, what's up?
Not much. It's been a good week here. We got married. It is February 9th, 1999.
Yeah, we did.
I don't know who listens to what shows, but we had our big 250 episode blowout bash, and we got married live on air.
No,
We got married off air.
Yes, it was a private affair.
We conduct most of our life.
Yes.
We didn't do a Miss Vicky. I think it was Miss Vicky, Tiny Tim situation where we got married on the Johnny Carson show or anything like that.
That's weird.
Tiptoe through the tulips.
Oh, I don't like that song.
That's Tiny Tim.
It creeps me out. I don't like it.
He has a creepy kind of voice.
Yeah.
But he got married to somebody on the Johnny Carson show.
It's amazing that he got married because he's so fucking creepy.
He does. You've seen him before, right? He does look fucking weird.
I haven't seen him. I've only heard him.
Oh my god, you've never seen him?
No.
Oh, I'm gonna have to wrestle up one of my. I think that I have a best of Johnny Carson tape somewhere.
All right.
And I'll show you Tiptoe.
No, I don't like it.
Anyway, so you could say that Tiny Tim's kind of a bad guy because, of how he looks and everything or whatever.
Okay.
Well, this episode's about a couple of bad girls.
What a segue.
Couple of bad boys. Bad girls for life, right? Ride or die, bad girls for life, or whatever they say.
I'm not aware of this saying, but sure.
Bad boys, because of the movie Bad Boys.
Okay.
Couple of bad boys. Martin Lawrence and Willard Smith. Actually, it's Willard.
It is not.
It is. That's his full name, Willard.
Really?
Yes. That's not one of my classic jokes where I elongate someone's name to something it's not, which is just the most hilarious form of comedy. But his name's actually Willard.
Does his family come from money? Because it seems like a rich person name.
Oh, Willard.
Right.
I don't know. He really comes from Philadelphia. I know that. I don't think he comes from money.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it was just like wish fulfillment then. Like, we'll name him something rich and he'll become rich.
Yeah, there you go. He'll sing about how we just don't understand him. That was his parents. That's a quote.
Sure.
Our son will sing about how we don't understand him. Will Smith's parents.
Right.
Anyway, so a couple of bad girls. Carol, tell us all about this episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
So we start with the new Watcher that we've been waiting for.
New Watcher.
And
Fresh new Watcher.
him and Giles are, of course, in a pissing contest the whole time.
Yeah. It's hot.
And I'm trying to think about I think that's kind of what pushes Buffy over the edge to misbehave.
Oh, yeah. To be a bad girl.
Yeah.
I think Faith pushes her over the edge.
Well, yeah, Faith is a terrible influence. But Buffy is.
I think they're getting ready to get rid of Faith. That's what I think.
I think so too.
She's becoming too much of a destructive force in the show.
Yeah. So this new Watcher is basically Giles, 20 years ago.
Giles 2.0.
Yeah.
But Giles 2.0 without the edge. 20 years ago, Giles was fucking Buffy's mom and, rolling around the streets of England.
See, I feel like that was 30 years ago.
Whatever.
I'm just saying, I feel like that was when he was really young, but when he was first a Watcher, he might have been this much of a dork.
I guess, maybe.
Maybe not. Maybe he was always cooler, but they seem very similar now.
Well, they both clean their glasses the same way at the same time.
Right, and they both know stuff, and they
both know stuff. You're right.
Supernatural stuff.
You know how people, when people know stuff, they're exactly alike.
The Watcher expects Buffy to act the way that, I don't know, Slayers are supposed to, and I guess she does not. I mean, he tries to, give her orders, and she's, looking at Giles am I supposed to listen to this guy? Mm. And she's like, yeah, Giles usually says, please.
Right.
Which, that's just, courteous.
I guess. Courteous, as they would say.
So, I'm trying to think about, what all happened here? What what all happened here with this new watcher?
She's like a detective that wanders onto a scene. There's blood and gore over there. Just looks over. What happened here? What all happened here? So much, sir. Not a lot happens with the new watcher. I guess that's probably why you're fumbling with your thought process. You kind of covered it all. He's like Giles, but he's ruder, I guess, or whatever than Giles. He expects to be in charge. Faith comes in and he's like, "Oh, you must be Faith or whatever," and she's like, "I'm leaving," and she walks out, and Buffy's like, why didn't I do that?
Yeah. I guess that's the beginning right there. It's like, wait, I should be more like Faith.
But he starts reading Giles's journal. It's like his personal diary or whatever about Buffy.
Is it personal though? Because I feel like it was written for the council, probably.
I guess probably yes.
And he's just complaining about how she doesn't listen.
This new watcher is not a listener.
Incorrigible.
Yeah. So he's like, "Oh, this should be fascinating reading, Giles." Giles doesn't like him.
No.
There's some funny kind of dialogue between the two of them where Giles, or Stuart Anthony Head, I think that's his name, gets to that's always, whenever I see that in the credits, that reminds me of like a joke name.
Okay.
Like, Dixon Anthony Head or something like that. Oh, Dickhead. Like, I don't know, it reminds me of some kind of joke name, but it's obvious it's his real name.
Right.
But anyway, he has a couple like witty rejoinders that I don't remember exactly. But it's something like where the guy's like, "You're not helping me," or whatever, and he's like, "Yes, I'm so broken up about it."
Yeah. Or like he tries to tell Buffy too that the only communication she should have with Giles is about overdue library books.
Mm-hmm. And she's like, "I'll talk to you later." And he's like, "Yeah."
Which is ridiculous because like this guy's like, why is he hanging out in the library? Like if Giles is the librarian and that is his job, then why does this dude feel like he has any right to be there? But I feel like the library is full of all these like supernatural books and tomes and stuff that came with Giles. Do they belong to Giles or do they belong to the Watchers Guild?
I don't know. And why does the school not have a problem with just some random guy hanging out in the library now?
Yeah.
It's really weird.
It's very
weird.
weird.
The library feels completely divorced from the school.
Yes.
As a set.
Agreed. Well, and if you think about the content that's in that library, plus they have a cage.
Yeah, they have a cage where they take one of their students and lock him up in a cage for 3 nights out of the month. And nobody says anything about that either.
Yeah, it's very weird.
No one's paying attention to the library. Are there no cameras in this school?
I don't think so. Like, I don't think most schools have cameras.
No, our school did.
Really?
Yeah.
Weird.
Well, we had a teacher that abused us students.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Installed them afterwards.
We got,
even if there are no cameras, I mean, like, what?
I was trying to say something and you just drove over me.
Yeah.
Like I'm fucking like a chicken crossing the road and you're a Mack truck.
You do that to me sometimes too.
No, I don't.
Okay. Listen back to these tapes sometime. Go ahead.
We didn't have cameras or metal detectors or anything.
Uh-huh.
But after my class left,
yes,
they installed metal detectors because like some shit went down.
Yeah, well, yeah, we had metal detectors after I left too.
Yeah. It's kind of a bummer.
It is a bummer.
But anyway.
Yeah. Enough about violence in schools.
Yeah, let's talk about vampires in schools. So Buffy and Faith are, slaying together, which I find kind of weird because there are so many times that we see Buffy out on patrol without Faith. We have whole episodes go by with no Faith. And now it's like they're acting like, oh, we do this together all the time. And
Faith's acting like that she can't get enough of it. If she can't get enough of it, why aren't you helping out with some of the other things that are going on?
Right? Last episode, she banged Xander because she was all riled up and hadn't gotten to kill anything.
Uh-huh.
So it's really fucked up how like connected to sex her violence is.
Yeah.
Reminds me of that song. There's no sex
No
in your
sex
violence.
in your
Yeah.
violence. Yeah.
Which song is that?
I don't know.
Anyway. So she's like,
I don't think so.
she says to Buffy,
Fuck
you. I mean, like-
we just got married, and she's throwing shit at me. The violence has come out.
just shush.
I'm doing you the song.
I don't.
Ba-da, 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 ba. I don't think so.
He thinks he's so funny. It's just
So do
insane.
you all.
It's just insane.
Anyway, you
They're-
were saying something.
They're slaying together.
The couple that slays together stays together.
Yes. And Faith is like talking to Buffy about like, doesn't it just get you like wound up and like, you know, just, you know, don't you just want to go like, I don't know, eat something? Don't you get hungry? Like,
Do you just want to go eat Xander?
they were talking about food and sex and slaying all
Oh
together.
my god, it's like George Costanza.
What are you talking about?
In an episode of Seinfeld, he like mixed his eating meats or something like that with sex and everything. Like I don't know, like there was this whole big thing about eating and sex together, like, and when he was eating a pastrami sandwich later, he's like, oh, I'm getting flushed or whatever. He was getting like turned on eating this
Oh,
pastrami
weird.
sandwich.
That's gross.
And Seinfeld's like, I'll tell you what you've done, Caligula. You've combined food and sex into one gross, like, fucking expression of... Oh, my God. No, so, yeah, it's like that. But
murder.
she was asking Buffy at the beginning. They're having a casual conversation as they're slaying vampires. And she's like, come on, never? Not even once? And she's like, no, not once. And she's like, really? Even like after a kill when you're all like revved up? Like, and she's like, no, I've never had sex with Xander.
It sounds like she thought it was pretty good. I mean, like,
Yeah, it did.
it sounds like she's like, you should try it. Like,
And it was his first time.
so good for him.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, I kind of feel like he didn't even need to be there. She was so revved up.
I guess. Oh my God, she's done.
What the fuck?
Oh, I thought you were dead
That's your reaction to your wife being dead?
from the cough.
Oh my God, she's done.
Anyway,
So
Everything Zen.
Faith.
That's the name of the song.
Okay, thank you.
Everything Zen by Bush.
Yes.
Da-na-na-na. Everything Zen. I don't think so.
Thank you for that, dear. Remind me not to mention songs again while we're podcasting. Anyway.
Everybody hated this.
No.
Just you. And everyone loves when you hate things. Hey, if she's sniffing a lot, it's because we have animals and she forgot to take her allergy medication.
And
'Cause
all-
she's allergic to everything in this house.
And all three of the animals slept in our bed last night.
Yeah,
Oh, goodness.
that's not going to happen again.
No. So, what was I saying? Faith and Buffy. So, Faith is like
We're still
bringing her...
We're still on the first scene.
We are not.
the
We
show.
are not. I'm moving on. So, Faith is bringing Buffy down the dark road. They decide to go...
You writing a poem?
Sure.
Faith is bringing Buffy down the dark road.
They go steal things together.
They do.
They go steal weapons together.
Well, because they're trying to fight a vampiric sect that's protecting a demon. And I guess vampires are also demons? I don't know.
They are. Or at least they contain demons inside of them.
They're like nesting dolls of demons. So they find out that in that first scene where they're killing a bunch of vampires, they kill another vampire that has swords, and that's the report she goes to make to Giles. So the two scenes we've talked about so far intersect, and she's like, "Yeah, he had two swords," and the new Watcher's like, "One long, one short." And she's like, yeah, I don't know. They were pointy.
Yeah.
And so he knows that these are acolytes of a dead demon named Balthazar.
But everybody's like, are you sure he's dead? And he's like, yes, of course he's dead.
Right. The book says he's dead.
So he must be, because everything in the book is correct.
I read the script. He's dead. So they go hunting for more. Well, they're looking for an amulet that's supposed to give this dead demon power.
Yeah, the new Watcher assigns Buffy to go get this amulet.
They're like, we might as well keep it from them anyway, even though we don't think it could do anything because the demon's dead. So she goes to... It's buried in a family plot that happens to be in Sunnydale Cemetery. Yeah.
And the Watcher... Like, Giles is like, oh, she should have been back by now. And the new Watcher is like, my scenario has her returning in 1 minute. Everything's fine.
Who plans a visit or like a mission down to the minute like
Right?
that? How can you plan for all contingencies? She might have stopped to talk to Angel and jump into his arms or something.
That does happen at some point.
Yeah. Bet you didn't account for that.
Right?
Banging a demon.
She ends up hiding inside of a coffin
Yeah.
and doesn't get the amulets. And
Sarcophagus.
yeah, because they all the bad dudes come in and get the amulet. The acolytes.
The arcade game Bad Dudes. The two dudes from that game come in.
Right. No, so
Bad Dudes are such a good game.
and then Faith comes, even though she told Buffy she wasn't going to.
Yeah, she was like, fuck it, I don't know.
And they chase these acolytes down into the sewer or whatever. Like, they should know better. Every time they follow things down a hole, it does not go well.
That's what Xander said. No, she's like, Faith is like, I'm going down after him. There was like 9 of them or whatever. And Buffy's like, we don't know if there's more down there. And she's like, yeah, I'll see when I jump down there. She's like, don't you understand me by now or whatever? I don't fucking care. I just want to... She's like, you better follow me or else I might die. And so she does follow her down. And, yeah, it's a bunch of vampires. Dressed like samurai swords people.
Okay. Yeah. So this is what leads them, though, right? To shopping for weapons.
Sure. You just want to get to that scene? You just wait. Like, this is just... I see now. This has all been a waiting game to get to that scene.
Yes.
Yeah, they kill a bunch of them. They follow him down, and they're like, oh, they're spying on him. They're like, hey, guess what? He's alive. He's alive, and he looks like that thing from Blade.
Yeah. That like giant overweight vampire that like he burns to death.
Yeah, the one that was supposed to eat babies.
Yeah.
They cut that out of the script.
But this dude, he's in like a pool of water, and they're constantly like basting him like a turkey. And I don't understand why.
I guess because his skin gets sticky and dirty and dried out or whatever because he's so fat.
I guess.
Why is he so fat?
I don't know.
Why is his
Does
name,
he eat babies?
Why is his name Balthazar?
I don't know.
That was the
either.
name of one of the 3 wise men.
They did not
I believe
explain
the one
his
that
name.
gave him myrrh.
Okay.
And
Sure.
and they were like, oh, he only gave Jesus myrrh. Curse him to be fat for the rest of his life. Seriously, think about that. Like, the 3 wise men is like, so what did you get him? Well, I got him nice frankincense, a nice scent, for him and everything. What'd you get him? Gold. What? What? What's wrong? Like, well, obviously he's gonna like gold. We had a $25 limit. Oh, it's the Son of God or whatever. What'd you get him? Myrrh.
I don't even know what myrrh is.
I don't know what it is either. It's
Okay.
like it's something.
Maybe don't bring it up when you don't even know what it is.
It's a joke. Why do you always deconstruct my jokes? I interrupt you and you deconstruct my jokes. You also cut off my jokes sometimes too.
Sure.
Just saying. I'm just saying.
Okay. Anyway.
It's our first fight as a married couple. On air. We screamed at each other before we got on here.
Of course.
Anyway, go ahead. So they spy on him and Faith's like, we got to get some shit to take this piece of shit down.
So they
'Cause
go
he can't
to
move.
a sporting goods store
Yeah.
and start just fucking breaking cases open and stealing guns and bows and knives and everything.
And Faith's like, you really need to figure out what being a Slayer is like. See, want, take.
Which is ridiculous. Like, I don't know why. Was she just a bad person? Because, like...
I don't know. We don't know anything about her other than what we've been presented in this show.
It's just weird. It's like, Buffy is not like that. And you'd think that all the Slayers would be at least somewhat moral, considering they're... what they have to do.
I think it just... I agree with you. I think it depends on the personality before you become the Slayer. Like... Some people, once given a lot of power like that, will let it go to their head and just do whatever.
Yeah. So the police come and arrest them, which seems kind of ridiculous.
They also allow themselves to get arrested, which is kind of weird.
Like, why not just get away from them? You know they could have.
Yeah, they should have been able to. Although they did have their guns drawn, and they're not bulletproof.
True.
As strong as they are.
So they're in the car going
first of all, Faith has one of the best lines in the episode where she's like, put their hands up or whatever, and she's like, okay. And he's like, cuff her. And she goes, I like this one. He's butch. Whatever.
Yeah. So the girls are in the back of the cop car. Mm-hmm. And Faith is like, slinks down, and she's like, you want to get out of here? And so they like kick the back window out. Like, how strong do you have to be able to kick that grating out?
Slayer strong.
Right? They knock the police...
Not even cocaine or PCP strong.
Right?
Gotta be Slayer strong.
They knock the policeman out with it. Like, the car crashes.
Yeah.
And Buffy's like, are they okay? But Faith's like, they're fine. You have no idea.
No.
You probably just killed these guys.
They're bleeding and like...
Right. Like, it's kind of awful.
For sure, at least they've got whiplash or something like that.
Yeah, they're definitely not okay. I mean, they may not be dead, but they're not okay.
They were moving.
Okay, I guess they weren't knocked out. I thought they were.
Well, as they were kind of knocked out. I mean, they were in that like hazy, I've just been in a car accident stage. But as like Buffy goes to check on them, they're like, I think they wanted to make clear they weren't dead.
Okay.
And then the next day, she was looking in the newspaper to see if there was any news of like what happened to them.
Mm-hmm. But there wasn't.
No, because she felt guilty about the whole thing.
So there's...
We also, before you go a little further, I want to address one thing because it's going to come up at some point in the near future. And I think now might just be the time to address it. And it's the mayor. The mayor has a subplot through this episode where he's... Mr. Trick's there. I think Mr. Trick might be being played by a different actor.
I don't think so. You mentioned that. He doesn't look that different.
Just a different haircut?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't even look like a different haircut. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, I guess I'm just, on drugs.
I guess.
But anyway, Mr. Trick's there and some other lackey of his is there, unnamed. And he keeps talking about, it's going to be fucking 100 days or whatever, and then we'll have the ceremony and then the ascension. And they're like, what? Well, they know what he's talking about.
Yeah. We're like what?
We're like what? So he's talking about doing this ascension or whatever. And one of the acolytes, they do talk about what's going on and everything. The swords that they see at the beginning of the episode mysteriously vanish when they look back to try to grab them. And it's because Mr. Trick has grabbed them and brought them to the mayor. And the mayor's like, yeah, I don't want anything fucking up my ascension. So why don't you make sure they get these swords? They can find these people. If any luck, they'll kill each other. And so at some point in the episode, he's going to his liquor cabinet. Also, it seems like he's a germaphobe.
Yeah.
They hint at that a little bit. Somebody attacks him, one of the acolytes of this demon, for some reason. There's no real reason. It seems like he should be attacking the mayor, but
just to get our stories to collide, I guess.
But he just does. And Mr. Trick stops him, and they put him in a cage. So then the mayor does his little ceremony on a pentagram or whatever. It's like, I'm gonna ascend, I guess, or whatever.
So where?
I don't know. And then they were like, did it work? He was like, well, let's see. Let him go. Give him his swords and let him go. So they do, and the guy chops him in the head. And his head like splits down the middle.
It's like the Terminator 2 movie.
Yes, exactly. But worse graphics.
Right.
TV budget, everyone. and then his head fuses back together, and he's like, "It worked. I'm now invulnerable until the ascension, so something's coming."
Yeah. So our big bad's getting bigger and badder.
I guess, yeah. The mayor is the big bad this time.
Yeah. So in the meantime, they send their lackey after Buffy and Faith.
Yeah, we don't know why exactly, but I mean they don't really make it clear.
They do not.
But Buffy and Faith are like, well, we know where this guy is. Let's go get him. They get the amulet back. Mm-hmm. That's the other thing. When they go down into the sewer, they grab the amulet back before they leave.
Was he sending the guy to get the amulet?
Yes. Oh, maybe, yeah. But the mayor didn't have the amulet.
No, it was the mayor sending his lackey to get the amulet from Buffy and Faith.
I don't know, because I don't think he cared that much. He wanted them just to kill each other or whatever. Maybe he was sending the lackey to give them the knives or something. I don't know.
Okay.
But anyway, they get the amulet back, and they give it to Angel.
Yeah. Buffy, dry humps him in the club.
Well, that's
and then
after,
gives it to him.
That's after she gives it to him. Because first they have this conversation, and she's like, yeah, we found this thing. And that's when the Watcher comes up to her. He's like, who's this person? She's like, it's Angel. He's a friend. Don't worry about it. And they both kind of ignore him. And, oh, no, she gave the Watcher.
Yeah, the Watcher has it. She takes it away from him because he's carrying it around in his pocket at the club. And she gives it to Angel.
She gives it to Angel, right. Not at the club. Stop looking at me like that. You're wrong. That's a different scene. They're outside the bronze. The scene you're talking about is later when Faith, because Buffy's supposed to be studying for this test, and this chemistry test, but she keeps talking about Faith and going down into the sewer with Faith. And Xander and Willow are like, we want to do this test. Shut up.
Right.
And Willow's like, you were supposed to come over and study, but you didn't because you hung out with Faith. And then Faith comes up to the window and is like, hey, let's get out of here. I found a nest of vampires. And she's like, all right. And so she leaves with her. That's the beginning of her bad girl behavior.
Right.
And then they go and crash into this nest during the daylight hours, and they kill a bunch of vampires. And then we cut to that night, them in the club dancing with a bunch of guys. They're dancing all sexy and stuff like that. A bunch of guys come up, and they're like... And that's when Angel steps up, and he's like, what the fuck is going on? And that's when she jumps into his arms and starts to dry hump him.
Sure.
No, not sure. You were wrong.
Okay. Whatever. Eventually, she gives the amulet to Angel, and eventually she dry humps them, and I guess these are separate things.
Yes, they are. What do you think she was dry humping him on the... Like, here's an amulet. The Watcher walks up and he's like, what's all this then? Why are you dry humping him? Where's the amulets? Yeah, all those things don't happen together.
Oh, goodness. So, I think we have covered everything up into the end.
Yes.
So, at the end...
Yes.
Faith and Buffy are battling.
Yes.
Who? The Acolytes? Because wait.
My God.
The Watchers are taken.
Yep. That's right.
And Faith and Buffy are trying to free them.
Yes.
And it's this is a funny scene though, because Giles is just a smartass the whole time, and like Balthazar says something to him, and he's like,
God, oh my God. Okay, let me do it for you, and then you can make funny comments. Yes, they send their acolytes to go get the they want everybody to meet there, basically. Balthazar's like, bring everyone to fucking meet. And so they kidnap the Watchers. The Slayers come to rescue them and to kill Balthazar. Like it's a two thing. And they've got them captured, and Balthazar is like, where's my fucking amulets? And Giles is like, nah, I don't know. I'm not telling you, or whatever. And the other Watcher's like, wait, let's make a deal. If you let us go, I'll let you know who has it. And Giles is like, shut up. They're just going to torture us to death anyway. And he's like, yeah, that's probably true. Balthazar says. And he's like, no, I can tell you. The Slayer gave it to a friend of hers. And he's like, give me the name. And he goes, I didn't actually get his name. Because they didn't tell him.
Uh-huh.
And then Angel shows up and is like, it's Angel. And then they start fighting.
No, but the funny line was when Giles was like, said something about the hard to reach places. Like, Balthazar wanted him to do something.
Oh, yeah, I need you to do something for me. And he's like, yeah. He says, if it's get the hard to reach places, you might as well just kill me now.
Right, yes.
Something
That was the funny line I was trying to get to.
That was worth it.
It was. It made me laugh out loud, so it was worth it.
Okay. Anyway, so then they fight Balthazar, and they don't. Do they use lights to kill him?
Yes, just like in Blade.
Just like in Blade.
It's kind of crazy. Yes, they burn. Well, was it light or fire? I don't know, but they burn him.
Yeah,
he burns just like in Blade.
He burns to death. Burn to death.
And then they're just like killing monster after monster after monster. And the mayor's lackey comes up, and Faith fucking stakes him in the heart.
Well, this is before they get there.
What the fuck? If that happened before this, then you should have said so.
Sorry that I couldn't do your job and my job too.
But yeah, so everybody's getting staked, and they just turn into dust.
They're fighting through the. I'll tell you when she stabs him. They're fighting through the streets to get to Balthazar because vampires keep coming up, and then he comes up and is like, "Hey," and and Buffy's like, "No," and cause I guess she knows the guy. I don't know, and she stakes him in the heart, and they're like, "Oh my god, we got to get an ambulance or whatever," and he's like, and it's like I thought maybe he was coming there to tell her something, but he never tells her anything.
Oh, no, I mean, he might have been, but he can't talk now. He's been impaled in the heart.
But I if that's the case, I applaud them for not doing the cliche of like, I've got to tell
right.
Or whatever. Maybe he was coming to tell them that the mayor was ascending. Maybe he was against the mayor.
Maybe.
He looked worried about a lot of the things the mayor was saying.
True. So yeah, maybe he was trying to get help.
But anyway, so she stabs him, and then they run off because they gotta fight Balthazar. And then afterwards, Faith comes out and looks at the body, and she looks kind of stricken.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, she killed a human being.
And then Buffy, so then after all this has been resolved, Buffy goes to Faith's, and she's like, hey, and I think it's notable that she's washing her hands.
Yeah.
Like she's trying to get the blood off of her hands, even though it's been a while, so presumably, and her hands are clean, but, I think it's that
guilt thing from Shakespeare. Yeah.
Exactly. But she says, we got to talk about this, Faith, or whatever. And she's like, no, we don't need to talk about it. It's over and done with. And she's like, but, they're you killed the guy. Like, we got to plan on something or whatever. Like, they're going to find a body. And she's like, no, they're not. I went back and I grabbed it and I weighted it down. There's no body. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, weighed it and threw it in the river or whatever. Yeah.
Faith is trying to block everything out and doesn't want to deal with it or whatever. And Buffy's trying to be there for her. And it's like that at this point in the episode, I think that's when because it's the end of the episode.
Yeah.
I think that's when we get the idea of like Buffy has gone down this path as far as she can go.
Well, yeah. And Buffy's like, but you killed a person, and Faith's like, but I don't care. And that's how it ends.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think she's going to be done now.
But I do think she cares.
Well, I agree. I think she cares too. But she's going to just take off and not want to deal with it.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with her, but I think that she's not long for this show.
Or maybe Buffy will tell on her, and then the council will, punish her or something. I don't know.
Well, make her have sex with Xander for the rest of her life.
That'd be a hell of a punishment, huh?
But yeah, that is the episode, everyone. Carol, you want me to tell you what to do, so why don't you...
I do love it when you tell me what to do.
Why don't you tell people what they can do?
So you can write us at latefee1994 at AOL.com.
Yes.
Check out our website at www.retrolatefee.com.
Also, yes.
And share the tapes with your friends.
Oh, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.